Sang-eun is potentially the strongest superhero on Earth. Unfortunately, his power comes with a literal price tag. Let's recap the generational curse of Cashero. How's it? I'm Evie and welcome to After the Episode. From epic action to moving moments, I recap the best K-dramas for you, so subscribe if that's your vibe. Let's tuck in. Cashero is the story of an ordinary civil servant named Sang-eun who's recently inherited an extraordinary gift from his father. Imagine your family has a unique genetic trait that's been passed down for centuries. When you turn 35, one of your parents passes the trait on to you without your consent.
Bruh.
You're given super strength and the ability to heal, but every time you use your powers, you lose the physical cash on you.
What do you mean? What do you mean?
The more cash you're holding, the stronger you become. For example, with $20, you can jump twice as high as you normally would. With $20,000, you can pull a bus full of people from a bridge. In addition, coins materialize out of thin air in a highly conspicuous fashion, and it normally amounts to around 3 to 5% of the cash you used.
You're not helping!
Your powers have conditions. Firstly, you must use your power to help others. If you don't, then you'll break out in painful blisters all over your body. Secondly, you must use your own money. If you steal, then you'll pass out and lose the powers for a certain amount of time. So if you had to use your hard-earned money to help others, how would you go about it, given your current work and home life, finances, skill set, and where you live? Well, let's begin with how Sang-eun's father handled it. Sang-eun always thought his dad was a bit of a deadbeat. He was forever asking people for money and even took Sang-eun's meager savings from his piggy bank when he was just a small child.
Bombastic side eye.
The financial crisis in the late 90s hit their family hard, and Sang-eun's father had tremendous difficulty in securing stable employment. Since he had very little income to use for superhero work, he opted to borrow money from loan sharks. Over the course of 30 years, Sang-eun's father amassed $2 million in debt, which the loan shark expects Sang-eun to pay.
Oh, hell no!
So Sang-eun's dad used debt to finance his superpowers. Let's see Sang-eun's approach. In order to test the limits of his new powers, Sang-eun uses his own money and that of his girlfriend Min-suk. Through their research, they come to two conclusions. First, using the powers would be a drain on their already tight budget and would be a hindrance in achieving their goal of buying a home. Second, using the powers as a source of income as a UFC fighter, for example, wouldn't work because the coins that appear are impossible to conceal. Getting a job in construction isn't an option either because the powers cost more than renting out machinery. Initially, Sang-eun doesn't use his powers at all, going so far as to limit his physical exertion by walking at a snail's pace and avoiding lifting heavy objects.
Okay.
One fateful day, however, he has no choice. With the life savings that his mother gave him as a contribution towards buying a house, Sang-eun uses his super strength to rescue a dozen passengers on a bus. From then on, Sang-eun tries to help others, and to do so, he finances his powers through a weekly allowance agreed upon with Min-suk. That's quite a sensible system to put in place. It's a pity the bad guys are equally organized. They have a seemingly endless supply of henchmen to send Sang-eun's way. As a result, he has to borrow money from the same loan shark used by his father to stand a chance against them. Yet even that money runs out, causing him to deplete his savings.
Have you lost your mind?
He even resorts to using money that isn't his, though to be fair, the situation was dire and it was the only cash available. Like his father before him, Sang-eun goes into extreme debt to help those in need. If I had Sang-eun's rather unfortunate power set, I would have strict rules for myself. Rule number 1, never borrow money. Rule number 2, never use my salary or savings for superhero work. With those rules in mind, my next move is to find out how often I have to be a hero. For example, does saving one person mean I don't get blisters for a day? If I save 10 people at once, do I get 10 blister-free days? If it works in that way, then it's tempting to go for grand feats of heroism, like assisting in natural disasters. That will require a lot of money though, so I'd have to approach some very wealthy philanthropists who are both trustworthy and discreet.
Not a great plan.
It's a risky course of action, which will draw unwanted attention to my powers. I'd much rather be
Your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man.
Best case scenario would be to get a part-time job working at a security company, preferably on Saturdays only because work-life balance, you know. The money I earn from the security gig will be used to help people while I'm on duty. If, however, I find myself in the same situation as Sang-eun of being pursued by an international criminal organization, I'm throwing caution to the wind. If Peter Parker makes money by selling photos of Spider-Man, then I'm monetizing my super strength and healing by making YouTube videos or becoming an action star. The coins will have to be edited out, of course, and there's the possibility that people will think the videos are AI generated. Also, there could be a doorman clause like in the Marvel Universe, preventing the use of superpowers on movie sets. Maybe I'd have to be a live performer and hold concerts instead. Goodness, it requires BTS levels of fame and fortune to take on supervillains.
Oh my god!
Cashero is such a fun show. What would you do if you were given these powers? Let me know in the comments. If you want to overthink another K-drama, watch my video on the dystopian dating app called Boyfriend on Demand. It's wild.